Hey guys, in today's video, I am going to be swapping out the standard 54 tooth spur gear in my X-Maxx for this 46 tooth spur gear. This is the high speed gearing that comes in the box with the X-Maxx. We're going to put it on there and see how the change of performance is. So I know that with the stock spur gear, the X-Maxx can do about 35 to 36 miles an hour. I actually have a top speed video, so if you want to see that, go check it out on my channel. But yeah, we're gonna see how it can do with this. Now, on the recommended card, it actually says that you should only be using up to at least 8400 milliamp 3-cell. My 3 cells are 5000 milliamp, but we're not gonna run it for too long, and I think it should be all right. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is obviously remove the body. All right, now flip this over, and as you can see, there are 4 screws inside of the holes right here. We're going to remove those, and it's going to loosen the motor. But before we actually do that, we have to take the gear cover off. So let's flip it back over. And now I'm going to take this gear cover off right here. There's just 2 screws. There's the first one. There's number 2. Always make sure you keep track of your screws and where they go whenever you're upgrading or making any modifications. Okay, so now we have the gearing exposed. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna flip this over. Oh man, this thing is heavy. All right. And now we're going to take out the 4 screws for the motor, and the motor should just fall right out. And I just heard the motor fall down right there. So we're gonna put this right here. And now gently flip this over. I'm actually gonna hold the motor on so that it doesn't get tossed around in the wrong place. There we go. And now we can see that the motor is loose. So I found a way to get the motor just sitting right up here. These wires in here are really tight. Those are the wires going to the fan, I believe, and maybe the motor temperature wire. So you do want to be careful of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some pliers and just get these pins out. Because these are the pins that hold the motor in place, or help you set the gear mesh, I should say. And you definitely don't want to lose those. Crap. This motor keeps falling over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the spur gear assembly so that I can replace the spur gear. Cover for the push drive. And you can see these these screws are really long, so don't lose them. This one is different, so we want to make sure we know where all of our screws are going. Got it. Last one. There we go. Now we can remove this cover. I'm just gonna prop it up, and there we go. Take this out of here. And I do have the blue anodized hot racing cover for the cush drive, which is pretty cool. And now we can remove this whole assembly like so. Now, as you can see, the gear in here fell out, so just make sure that you don't lose that gear and that bearing. So now what I'm going to do with this spur gear is we just gotta remove these screws, and then we're going to just replace the spur gear with the one that I have down here, the 46 tooth. Just one screw. And before I take the third one out, I do just want to point out that you're taking the ones that are directly drilled into or screwed into the spur gear itself, not the flat ones inside. So you're taking the 3 on the outside out that are actually in the spur gear. Finish unscrewing this by hand. And now, I'm just going to attempt to pull this apart. There we go. So you can see how that just came off right there. Now I just gotta finish pulling it apart. And here we have our stock original 54 tooth, I believe. Yeah, 54 tooth spur gear. And compared to the new 46, you can see it is quite a bit bigger. Both of these are metal, obviously, to take the 8S power of the X-Maxx. So we're going to put the big one aside, and we are going to directly install the new 46 tooth. You gotta give it a little bit of persuasion. It's not an easy job. There we go. And we are just about in. Nice. All right, so now I'm going to replace the screws one at a time. So we'll start with this one right here. And there we go. We now have installed the new spur gear into the transmission. So expert pro tip that doesn't take that much knowledge, make sure your screws are all in super tight. This is metal on metal, so if you're not going to add Loctite, which I don't have, make sure that they're all extremely tight. You do not want them coming out when you're driving your truck, especially on an X-Maxx, because it will rip them apart. And yeah, now basically what we're going to do from here on out is just reassemble the truck. So first we have to put in the cush drive assembly. Okay, so when I took the slipper clutch, or sorry, I keep saying that. When I took the cush drive out, one of the gears and one of the bearings fell out. So what I'm going to do here is put this gear back on and then put the bearing right on top. And there we have the completed slipper clutch with the new spur gear on it. So I'm going to show you now. I'm just going to put this right back in there. And I believe that that is what we want. As you can see, it moves with the truck perfectly. You can't see it right there. Moving with the truck perfectly. You can even see the center drive shaft in there below the spur gear. All right, so that's great. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put the hot racing cover back on. And then after that, we will put the motor back in and then we'll be done. All right, guys, so I went ahead and put the last screw in. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the motor in. I've already got the pins in the right place. So we're gonna set the motor and then make sure that the gear mesh is perfect. That seems pretty good. So now we just have to put the screws back in. As you can see, the gear mesh right there is just perfect. So we're gonna put the motor screws in and then put the cover back on the spur and pinion gear, and then we should be done. Just got the motor screws on, and we are rolling pretty well. So now we just gotta get the gear cover back on, and then we are done with this install. And just like that, we are done with this install. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below if there's anything else that you're interested in with the X-Maxx or with any of my other RC cars. You know, I can make any sort of video you guys want. Just leave a comment and I will reply to every single comment. I always do. Please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Go follow my Instagram, cars_boats_RCs. But yeah, for now, that's the end of the video. Thank you guys so much, and peace.